to do that. And I'm like,
Wait, your stuff is right here.
yeah, I know. I'm just sad.
As I select the reaction.
I like marked my hair. Yeah. That's true. I wore my
Make sure no one can miss
trench coat all morning. I knew.
Yeah.
It was obvious.
Does this belong to anybody? It's one of those things that you put, it's not an earring.
I was like, oh no. It's like a ring binder
Yeah,
thing.
that's-
It's
It's a big meat earring.
No, you put like note cards on it.
what you, note card. We have as a child watch, that's what I'm writing down.
Okay, if you were paying attention at the end of yesterday, we're going over chapter 10, today we skipped chapter 9.
Oh, I see. Yeah, so you can have. No one.
Alright, so chapter 10 is organizing production. So, this week, I know you guys are going to your field trip tomorrow, but, today and Friday we'll be talking about organizing production and then different types of companies. So, to start off, we're going to think about opportunity costs and revenue. So a firm, you should know this by now, is an institution that hires productive resources and then also organizes those resources to produce and sell goods and services. So if you think back to week 1, we talked about firms and resources and such. So it's a firm's goal to maximize their profit, and then also if you're trying to measure their profit, you would take a total number of sales minus expenses. So page 198 has an example of that. Instead of typing it out, we'll just read it. So page 198 at the bottom where it says measuring a firm's profit, Sydney with an I, it also happens to be male if you've read this. Sydney runs a successful business that makes sweaters. Sydney Sweaters receives $4,000 a year for the sweaters it sells. Its expenses are $80,000 a year for wool, $20,000 for utilities, and $120,000 for labor, and $10,000 in interest on a bank loan. So, write this out on the board. Sales total is $400,000. And then the expenses include $80,000 for wool, so that's resources, right? And then $20,000 for utilities, so building expenses, water, power, etc. So this utilities is not what we were talking about last week, it's actual service. And then $120,000 for labor, so they're spending $120,000 on wages. So these are just some of the costs that this company has to pay every year. So even though they've made $400,000, they have to deduct or subtract each of these expenses. Oh, and then there's also the $10,000 interest on bank loan. Interest is awful, I hate it. You have interest anytime you borrow money. So that would include like a credit card. If you're taking out a student loan, you're getting interest taken on that. If you have a car loan, house loan, anytime you're borrowing money, there's interest to be paid. So whoever's giving you that money, they're getting money in return as a percentage of whatever's still owed on that. Okay, so if we take the $400,000 minus all of the expenses, we have, $170,000 left. Okay, so with receipts of 400,000 and expenses of 230,000, so all of these added is 230, we get a total of 170,000 annual surplus. And then Sydney's accountant lowers this number by 20,000, which he says is the depreciation, which is fall in value of the firm's building and knitting machines during the year. So, have you all at least heard the term depreciation? No. Okay. So depreciation, you use it a lot in accounting. So let's go ahead and write it. Okay, so for depreciation, it's, an item loses value over time. So the example in here is that, let's see. The firm's building and knitting machines during the year, the annual report says that Sydney's profit is $150,000 a year, and then the accountant measures the cost and profit to ensure the correct amount. So okay, so depreciation, basically what you're paying today for the building and the machinery you're using, that price isn't gonna be what it's worth next year because you'll have used it, they'll have wear and tear. So that kind of cost there, that devaluation, is what we call depreciation. So the wool machinery at the beginning may be worth $100,000 if you were to sell it that same day, but a year later, because of the wear and tear, it might only be worth $80,000. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's the depreciation it's talking about. So even though this company made $400,000 from selling sweaters, after all of the expenses and depreciation are taken into account, the profit is actually only $150,000. Okay. So we just measured their profit, and then firms also have an opportunity cost of production. So back up at the TV monitor, the opportunity cost of production is the value of the firm's best alternative use of its resources. So it's a real alternative foregone, and to compare the cost of one action to another, we express it in the opportunity costs in money units. So the book goes on to give an example of, instead of using your resources to produce the wool sweaters, you could have rented those resources or machinery and made money off of them. So we're gonna kind of put a money unit towards the opportunity cost. So it may not make sense yet, but it should in a few minutes. So there's two types of costs. There's within the opportunity cost. There's an implicit cost and there's an explicit cost. So the implicit cost is when the firm forgoes an alternative action but does not make a payment. So it's not that they're giving money in exchange for something, or making money in exchange for something. It's when it's using its own capital. So if it's using the owner's time or financial resources, that's a non-monetary opportunity cost, whereas they could be doing something else. So implicit cost is a non-monetary opportunity cost. And then an explicit cost is paid in money. So that's something you're actually paying for. So the amount paid for a resource could have been spent on something else. So it's the opportunity cost of using the resource. So instead of buying the wool machine, we could have done something else with the money we used to buy that machinery. So that would be the explicit cost. And then explicit costs are also, the wages paid to workers, the bank interest, and the cost of production. So, kind of those expenses that we went over up here, so these would be your explicit costs. And then the implicit rental rate of capital. So again, the cost of using its own capital because the firm could have rented the capital to another firm. And so with that, you have economic depreciation and then also interest foregone. So because they chose to use their resources instead of rent them, they now have economic depreciation on those resources. So the value of the resource isn't as much, it won't be as worth as much next year as it is today. And then the interest foregone. So if they had rented, they could have charged an interest rate to the firm that was renting from them, and they could have received that interest or that money. So if a firm rents capital, it's incurring an explicit cost, and that's because it's paid money, right?
Wait, can you,
What was that?
can you go back, please?
Okay. So we're gonna jump over to Hubbard and O'Brien, because I think they give a better example of how this opportunity cost works. So, Hubbard and O'Brien say that consumers have a tendency to ignore non-monetary opportunity costs. So, again, an opportunity cost of any activity is the highest value alternative that must be given up to engage in that activity. So, as we're talking with the firms, if you own something, you could sell it. And so if you're not selling it, the price you could have gotten is your opportunity cost. So they use this example. So in 2001, some of the Super Bowl fans participated in a lottery run by the National Football League that allowed the winners to purchase tickets at their face value, which was either $325 or $400 depending on where the stadium seats were located. As you all know, if you've ever been to a game, like better seats cost more money, not so great seats cost less. So, in 2001, they gave the opportunity to, they set aside 500 pairs of tickets and held a lottery for the opportunity to buy these tickets. More than 36,000 people applied for these tickets. There are 500 available, so there's great demand for those tickets. And some fans were willing to pay as much as $5,000 to buy a ticket from ticket scalpers, which this particular game had been held in Florida. Scalping is illegal in Florida, so there's like a little side note as part of this example. Does everybody know what I mean by scalping? Where you're buying a ticket at price value and selling it for more? Okay. So if someone got a ticket from the lottery, they're paying $400. Well, if someone's willing to pay $5,000, I would sell it, right? But I don't really like football, so anyway. So to continue on with this example. So why didn't the NFL simply raise the price of tickets to clear the market? Since there were so many people wanting these tickets, why not just raise the price and those who are willing to pay like $5,000 to sell them at that price. Well, it's not quite that easy. So Kruger decided to survey football fans attending the game to see if their views could help explain this puzzle. So his survey explained why companies don't always raise the price when the quantity demanded is greater than the quantity supplied. So when asked if it would be fair to the NFL to raise the price of tickets to $1,500, if that is still less than the amount most people are willing to pay for the ticket, 92% of fans said, surveys answered no, that they wouldn't pay more money for the ticket. There were a few, but not as many as they thought. Even 83% of fans who had paid more than $1,500 for tickets answered no. So they concluded that whatever the NFL might have gained in the short run by raising the price, ticket price, it would more than lose in the long run by alienating those fans, because holy cow, who can afford $1,500 for one game? Not me. I mean, there are some people who are avid football fans and they would spend it. You know, my sister, Starbucks, gas in the car. Other people, it's like football, gas in the car, which one's more important. So, with that, ignoring this non-monetary opportunity cost, those who won the survey were also asked the following questions. So, at the very bottom there, if you had not won the lottery, would you have been willing to pay $3,000 for your ticket? So that was the first question that those who won the lottery were asked. And the second is, after winning your ticket, if someone had offered you $3,000 for your ticket, would you have sold it? What do you guys think? They answered. For each. Aaron?
Sold it.
Okay. Anyone else? Any thoughts?
I don't think I would, I would guess people wouldn't have been willing to pay for it for $3,000, but they would have sold it for $3,000.
Yeah.
I thought it was, I thought that they wouldn't have. That's what I
Then
said,
they-
that's what I meant to say.
But then, they wouldn't have sold it for $2,000.
Right, oh,
Right.
that's not like.
I would have sold it for $2,000.
So you're saying that they wouldn't have bought it for $3,000, at the same time they wouldn't have sold it even if they could make money off of it.
Oh.
And that's actually what happened. So it doesn't necessarily make sense. But for question one, 94% of them said that they would not have paid $3,000 for their ticket if they had not won the lottery ticket. So if they hadn't got their ticket for $400, they just would not have gone to the game. They wouldn't have paid $3,000 for that same ticket. And then 92% said they would not have sold their ticket for $3,000. So this doesn't really make sense now, does it?
No.
I mean, I'm not a football fan. If I got a ticket, I'd be like, sure, $3,000 in my pocket, minus the $400 that I paid for it. That's still, that's like, that could pay off a lot of credit card, student loans, you know, I could use that. So it's saying that if someone offered you $3,000 for your ticket, then by using your ticket yourself, rather than selling it, you've incurred an opportunity cost of $3,000. So even though there's really, like your money's not being exchanged, that $3,000 transaction isn't taking place, that $3,000 is still a cost involved in using that ticket. So even though you didn't pay $3,000 in cash, that $3,000 you could have gotten from selling your ticket is an opportunity cost. Did you follow how that worked? Okay. So the alternative of either paying $3,000 or not receiving $3,000 amount to exactly the same thing. So if the ticket is really not worth $3,000 to you, then you should sell it, right? Like, I'm not a football fan, it's not worth $3,000 to me, I would sell it. And then if it is worth $3,000, you should be willing to pay $3,000 for it though, right? So, this is kind of showing how that non-monetary opportunity cost is sometimes ignored, because by not selling it for $3,000 if you have that ticket, that the cost of selling it is your opportunity cost. So if you would have sold it, you would have gotten $3,000, but you wouldn't have been able to go to the game. So that highest valued alternative. So the choice was either attending the game or making a a $2,600 profit off of that ticket. Okay? So, some vocab words, these are not in your textbook, they're just in Word on the Blind. The endowment effect is the tendency of people to be unwilling to sell a good they already own, even if they're offered a price that's greater than the price they would pay to buy the good if they didn't already own it. So again, the tendency of people to be unwilling to sell a good they already own, even if they are offered a price that is greater than the price they would pay to buy the good if they didn't already own it. So what would be an example of that for you guys personally? So what's something that you would be unwilling to sell even if someone offered you a price higher than what it's valued at? Your
cat.
Your cat. Okay.
That's a great example.
Alright, so if I offered you $100,000 for your cat, you'd say no sale? Okay. I don't have $100,000 and I don't like cats, so no sale anyway. What would be another example? Pulver, you look like you're thinking.
Like, my family has like a farm inside of our family, so if someone offered us a lot of money, we would still not sell the farm.
Okay, so you want that farm.
Yeah.
Paige.
This isn't a personal one, but you know, like a lot of kids will have like a special blanket or a pillow
Oh,
they
yeah.
have to use. Like no matter how much you offer, they're probably not going to give up their special blanket.
Yeah. Yeah, so, if a parent's trying to bribe that blanket out of the kid's arms to wash it, I will let you have 5 pieces of candy. No! Right, Erin?
One, I used to have a special blanket, and two, some people, or like, I'm not exactly sure who would do this, I definitely would not, but like, if they wanted to like, if somebody offered them money for like their siblings or something, I would never do that because I love my siblings, so I'd say no sale if somebody asked me.
I don't know, there were times when I probably would have sold my little brother.
Probably by people.
There are times when they irritate me, but
Not this.
my life would be terrible without them.
Alright, well, I'm pretty sure selling a human is,
Illegal?
Illegal, yeah.
Just a little bit.
I believe they
No,
call
we
it
had that
human
thing.
trafficking.
Yeah, you know, we had that thing called the, you know.
Right, so,
Thank you, Abel.
so the endowment effect is the tendency of people to be unwilling to sell a good even if they already own it and are offered a price greater than what it's, the price they would pay to buy the good if they didn't already own it. And then a non-monetary opportunity cost, those are just as real as monetary costs and should be taken into account when making a decision. So that example of the $3,000 you could get from the ticket, that $3,000 transaction actually take place, but it was a foregone alternative. Yeah.
So non-monetary is when there's not money directly involved with it?
But there was money directly involved when we were talking about the $3,000, just that you were choosing like not to take it, and so that makes it non-monetary.
Because you didn't take the
Okay.
money, yeah.
So not necessarily that there isn't money in the situation.
That makes me think of like YouTube. Like a lot of YouTubers are paid, so they have monetary accounts, or they have like a non-monetary account. Or, like some specific videos are non-monetary, so they're not paid to make the video. Yeah.
I don't use YouTube enough. I never know what to look up, but I mean, there's some dumb stuff on there. But, Erin?
I've actually heard that if you get a certain amount of subscribers on YouTube, that you will get paid for.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the
Yeah.
ones with the commercials. Like if you watch a video with a commercial, they're getting paid.
Yeah.
There's some people.
I usually skip those.
They're all YouTube stars.
people can keep on getting paid
Yeah.
for it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you know how much they get paid? Is it like
They
so many
get-
per?
Michelle
like,
Phan gets 6 figures a year,
Yeah, it kind of depends on how many viewers you
so
have.
it just depends on, yeah.
And is it like individual viewers or like could a viewer like could I watch a video 5 times? Would they get money each?
Mhm.
I think it's individual subscribers.
What if you,
not-
what if you
not
skip a
views.
video, like, there's a thing to skip commercial.
That doesn't make a
Those-
difference.
those
Right,
are ads.
that- yeah.
Oh, those are ads, never mind then, never mind.
I mean, basically, isn't it when there's every like commercials shown, like that's what they're getting paid for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every view you get, if there's a commercial on it.
No matter what, you're gonna have something glare up on your screen.
Yeah.
McDonald's.
That Target guy,
Oh, yeah.
Alex from Target.
What is that?
I saw that. It's like viral. People are like
He
obsessed with
literally is not
him.
even cute.
And he like he posted on
Alex
Twitter.
from
He was
Target.
like, "This is ridiculous. Like, why do people think they can post this? Just a picture of a guy who's packing groceries at Target."
and it's viral.
And like, and now
It went
everybody's like
viral.
wearing
And-
red to honor
Yeah,
Alex from
honor Alex
Target.
from Target.
And literally, he
You
looks like
better
Justin
feel
Bieber.
freaking
He's
special.
nasty. Yeah.
People are like obsessed with him. I just thought, why is he trending? Like, what has the world come to?
I don't know. I haven't seen him, so.
Well, you're supporting him today, apparently.
Yeah. People are probably, if you go to Target, they're gonna be like, "Oh, are you supporting him?"
Like, did I follow
If
and then
that-
like someone to
I'm pretty sure it's good publicity for Target.
Yeah.
I'm sure. And probably somebody who works there, they're getting paid.
That's really funny.
It is, it's hilarious. This girl just took a picture of him and she posted it, and now people are like, "Oh my gosh, he's beautiful, what are you doing?"
Yeah, she just
brings,
brings, just like that weird like,
Yeah.
taking pictures.
Like, people post that all the time, how did that become viral? Hashtag Alex from
And then it
Target.
goes viral and everyone knows your face.
What is social media these days?
I don't know, like I'm out of the loop. Like I guess maybe when I was in high school, like I had a Facebook account. I still have one, but like I'm rarely on it. Facebook. I kind of miss the MySpace.
I had a MySpace.
I didn't
Yeah.
have one, but I had friends with it.
Yeah, same. Yeah, my mom used to.
My parents have social media.
It was like technically illegal.
Okay, so sunk costs, we're completely off topic, is a cost that's already been paid and cannot be recovered. So with that, an example would be,
The cake kind of like.
okay, so an example of that would be if you bought a ticket to a play for $75, the ticket's non-refundable and it must be used on Tuesday night, which is the only night the play will be performed. On Monday night, so the day before the play, a friend calls and invites you to a local comedy club to see a comedian you both like, who's appearing only on Tuesday night. So your friend offers to pay the cost of going to the club, okay? So we have the $75 ticket that you've purchased, and now an opportunity to go to a club to see a comedian you really like for free, because your friend is paying for it. Okay, so that's situation one. Situation two, it's Monday night and you're about to buy a ticket for Tuesday night performance of the same play as in situation one. As you are leaving to buy your ticket, your friend calls and invites you to the comedy club. So you haven't actually purchased that ticket to the play yet. Would your decision to go to the play or to the comedy club be different in situation one than in situation two?
Actually, no, because like your friend's not gonna be paying for it because they know that like you haven't bought the play ticket.
Oh, I didn't do
Oh, I
that
thought
part.
they
Or is that?
Yeah.
like, how
That's
they-
not, no.
No.
We'll continue, I'll let you guys ponder that for,
So in situation two, they do not say if your friend would pay.
right, it's just whether or not you'll